Welcome back. This is part 3 of our examination of the reasons for reading presented by Kelly Gallagher in his book titled, appropriately enough, Reading Reasons. We've already talked about reading as being rewarding and how it builds vocabulary in previous videos, links somewhere around here or maybe down in the doobly-doo. And today we discuss reason number 3. Reading will help make you a better writer. This isn't surprising. Reading and writing are just two sides of the same coin, with a relationship much like that between listening and speaking. And as with listening and speaking, there is a fundamental principle of language acquisition that tells us comprehension always precedes production. So just as a person would find it nearly impossible to talk if one had never heard speech, it's hard to imagine how anyone could learn to write without first learning to read. From the earliest days of elementary school to the most sophisticated graduate schools, students are expected to read first before eventually joining the conversation, writing their own words and ideas for others to read. As children, we begin by learning single words in isolation. Then as we grow, we start to build simple sentences until one day we are capable of developing complex structures over extended narratives. We learn to speak well by listening to good speakers. Most of us are not surprised that someone who grows up around people with good grammar and sophisticated vocabularies, for example, will speak with their same speech patterns, while those who grow up surrounded by language loaded with slang and irregular idioms will pick those up naturally, and usually share the same penchant for, shall we kindly say, an alternative sense of grammar. Writing works just the same way. The more a student reads, the easier it will be for him or her to develop good writing habits, able to express themselves clearly and concisely. One thing I'd like to point out here is that suggesting that being a good writer is not the same as saying anyone is more likely of becoming a good creative writer. Reading Twain or Fitzgerald, unfortunately, in no way guarantees that the reader will one day turn out the next Huckleberry Finn or Great Gatsby, even though, sadly, the reverse probably is true. Not reading extensively probably will guarantee that you will never become a good writer at all. However, all the reading in the world can't promise to make us any more creative or original than we were before we turned the first page. Still, there are many other elements of writing that likely will improve with more exposure to writing, and especially the more experience we have dealing with good quality writing. Things like organization and coherence, for example. We'll pick up those finer points of tricky grammar and spelling. If we read closely and pay attention to detail, we may improve our use of imagery and figurative language, making our writing more lively, engaging, and clear to the reader. These things are important to anyone who will ever need to communicate in writing throughout the rest of their life, even if they never have any desire to create the next Fault in Our Stars. Business people writing reports and proposals, or lawyers filing for an appeal, doctors detailing a case history, all write far more than we might imagine based solely on the television-created image of their jobs. Even blue-collar work today frequently requires being able to write up reports on various aspects of their job. In all cases, being able to write effectively will be a major asset. So even if you have no desire to write the next great novel, the fact that reading will make you a better writer is another good argument to maintain a strong reading habit. Start practicing now. Write me something down in the comments. What do you have to write in your daily life? Do you wish you could do it better? When you look at the comments left by others in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media streams, can you guess which came from good readers? I would guess you can. Be one of them. Keep reading. Until next time, don't forget to be awesome.